Today we got to talk about LDL. So you go to the doctor to get a blood sample and you see like, oh, when you get back your blood sample, my LDL has raised. It's pretty high. So you think, oh, that's a bad thing. Well, let's go back in history. In the last part of the 20th century, they made first this discovery of dietary fat that leads to an increase in LDL. That's true. What they found next is that LDL, it correlates with CVD, cardiovascular disease. So basically having a heart attack. That's true too. So they made the conclusion that dietary fat causes CVD, the heart attack. That's not true. Why is that? The thing is, there's not just LDL. There are two types of LDL. The large buoyant types of LDL and the small dense LDL. So one of them is good, one of them is bad. And one of them is caused by dietary fat and one of them is caused by carbohydrates. So, what do you think? Is it the carbohydrates that cause the good one? Or is it the carbohydrates that cause the bad one? Is it the dietary fat that causes the good one? Or the dietary fat that causes the bad one? Well, I'm going to explain it to you later in this video. But first I want to tell you what happened in history. So some smart people, some very smart people decided to implement a new strategy because they found out there were more and more heart diseases. So they recommended that people would eat a low-fat diet. So the heart diseases would decrease. They implemented this and well, they don't quite implement this like they said, because when you have processed foods and you get rid of all the dietary fat in the processed foods, what do you become? Well, a low-fat processed food. But when you taste the low-fat processed food, then you experience that the food tastes like shit. It's not good. So what did they do? They added carbohydrates. And what specific type of carbohydrates? Well, high fructose corn syrup. It made the food much tastier and it made that the food was better preserved so they could ship it overseas. And it is also very cheap. But more about carbohydrates and how they are processed in the body in the next video. Here I just want to conclude that carbohydrates are actually the cause of the bad LDL, the dense LDL, and the dietary fat increases the large buoyant LDL. So, dietary fat raises good LDL, carbohydrates raise bad LDL. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to exclude carbohydrates totally from your diet. I'm not saying that at all. It is rather a volume issue of carbohydrates and a volume issue of a specific type of carbohydrates, because carbohydrates, the different carbohydrates, are metabolized in the body in a different way. But I'm going to talk in another video about this and explain which carbohydrates should be avoided and how to make sure you're in the end not causing yourself heart disease or any other metabolic disease. If you want to know more about how to live healthy, please subscribe to this channel. And if you have some specific questions about this topic or another topic, put them in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer them in one of the next videos. Take care.